Well, hey there, it's Pastor Rick again from Covenant Life Church here in Jeffersonville, Indiana. We're right here on Veterans Parkway, right next to River Valley Middle School, and just having a great time, just kind of going over the sermon from last Sunday where we talked about families. We talked about the fact we can trust God with our families. We're studying the fact that a lot of the misconceptions people have about generational curse and the generational curses that people think they're affected by, that was never God's intention, that was never his desire, and we're looking right now in the Old Testament to see what he was really saying and what he really meant. In the last video, we studied closely the term of visiting and then the iniquity of the fathers on the children and grandchildren, and describing what this was describing was the constant barrage of sin by one person would affect and often be copied by the next generation and the next generation, and God would have to visit that iniquity. Not that he was bringing wrath or punishment from somebody else's sin to the next generation just as a little more punishment, but it was actually something that he was warning that if you keep this up and you don't even care about your own consequences, is it enough for you to realize that it's going to affect your kids and grandkids? Will that get you to stop? If you don't care about yourself and how you're destroying your own life with sin, don't you care about the destruction of the lives of your kids and grandkids? Will that do it? That's the God I know. And that's what I'm seeing in these verses. And I think if you look at them closely through the looking glass of who God actually is, as represented by Jesus Christ in the flesh, that you will see the same thing as well. And this should set you free. This is good news, not bad news. This is good news. And so if we talk about the fact that sin is copied and continues, especially idolatry, that's a good reason to get your families in church. If you're not in church with your family, chances are you and your children will find other things to worship. And that will pass on generation to generation even quicker. A few weeks ago, we went over the statistics on that were discovered and put out even by non-biblical or non-church, data gatherers, I guess, for lack of a better term. These are worldly people that gather the data that families that grow up in church do much better in many different ways. So that's pretty important. That's really the point God is trying to get across, is that, hey, if you're going to sin, you're going to suffer the consequences. But if that doesn't stop you, what about your kids and grandkids? Won't that be enough? And these kids and these grandkids, they will often copy the sin that they see continually, especially idolatry. And if you don't have your families in church, guaranteed you and your descendants are going to find something else to worship. So that's the main point I think I'd like to make in this video here. Is get in church, stay in church, keep your eyes on Jesus, and don't be worrying that God is out there trying to curse you or your family based on something somebody else did. So we're going to go a little bit deeper in this here in the next few videos, so I hope you'll join us. Again, this is Pastor Rick at Covenant Life Church. We're here in Jeffersonville, Indiana, right next to River Valley Middle School on Veterans Parkway. If you don't have a great church already, I hope you join us someday on a Sunday morning at 10:30. And again, there's a link to the entire message in this post here. We'll talk to you soon.